Hi guys, I'm Jake, and in this video I'm going to share with you how breaking my comfort zone wasn't actually the cure to fixing my social anxiety, and what actually was the missing link. And spoiler alert, it's not very well known at all, and it's likely not what you're thinking it is. As a result of this work, I can now approach and talk to literally anyone I want to. If I see someone I want to go talk to, I can go do that now, without any internal resistance going on, and I can even do it for attractive women now. And it doesn't spark any fears or thoughts like, oh, what are they going to say? I'm being weird. I'm not normal. Blah, 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 blah. None of this internal resistance. I can just go be normal and have a conversation. Also, I now have the ability to say what's on my mind genuinely without thinking, oh, they're going to think I'm weird, or fearing rejection, or fearing being embarrassed, or that they're going to judge me, or think. Just none of this internal resistance. I can just speak. I can just say what I want to say. And if I have some sort of spontaneous joke that I want to say that would make me laugh, I can say that. Now, I want to make a claim. Social freedom and confidence is inherent to all human beings, but through our upbringing, we have learned to... I now want to make the claim that social freedom and confidence is inherent to all of us. That full freedom is inherent. But we've learned throughout our life, throughout our upbringing, throughout our childhood, that we're not safe to really do that now. There are internal barriers and blockers that prevent that true self from coming out and expressing itself. And that with work and focus, we can undo those barriers, and as a result, social freedom and charisma and confidence will just occur as a natural byproduct. So now, I don't want you to instantly believe what I'm saying or instantly reject what I'm saying. I want you to hear me out, and then by the end of this video, make a decision for yourself whether or not this actually makes sense. So what are these barriers? Well, these barriers are basically just belief systems, and I'm going to add trauma to that as well. Belief systems and trauma, just keep that in mind. So with that, let's get into a quick story. Imagine you're a 10-year-old boy in the classroom and you have the spontaneous thought that I want to say this thing and make everyone laugh. You want to say a joke, then you say the joke, you try and make everyone laugh, but no one laughs, you're embarrassed, and the teacher tells you, shut up, don't do that again. What do you think happens in your 10-year-old brain? I'll give you a second to think. Well, nothing good. That's for certain. So you're going to learn that expressing yourself, being spontaneous, is not safe. In a 10-year-old's brain, we don't have the ability to hold multiple perspectives or reason ourselves. As an adult, we can say that, okay, maybe it wasn't the right time for a joke, or just any reason. But in our 10-year-old's brain, we think that is just, we're going to be rejected by the tribe. We need to think about survival and our evolutionary purpose. If in our 10-year-old brain, we are going to get rejected from the tribe, what are we going to think? Oh, we're going to die. Because we've evolved to live in the tribe. We need to work with our tribe and not be rejected. We can't be rejected by our parents, otherwise it's death. We're 10-year-olds. We can't think or fend for ourselves at this point. So we are basically super adaptable, and that we change ourselves in order to fit in and not die. So, as a result of this adaptation, we think we learn and change our personality in order to do from that example I gave earlier. Well, that part of me that wants to be spontaneous and make everyone laugh, do not do that again. Push it down. That part of you that wants to be spontaneous, you push it down. You basically repress it, and you don't allow that part of your psyche to come up. I want you to think of your psyche as split into two parts. The repressed, the unacceptable part of yourself, and then the acceptable, socially acceptable part that, yes, this is good. You have now added being spontaneous to this repressed part of yourself. You've pushed it down, and now you're not allowed to bring it back. Because you've learned that what happens when this part expresses itself? Rejection, embarrassment, you're told off. Your teacher, the authority figure, tells you, no, bad. And you don't want to be rejected, so you push it down. Now, using this one example, I want you to imagine further situations in school and at home life. What do you think you might learn to behave in the world because of this environmental trigger? Maybe you're told to be quiet. Maybe you're told to be small, or you can't act a specific way. For me specifically, I went through being bullied and having divorced parents. My household was also not the most safe. It was lots of screaming and stuff like that. So as a result of that, adapt. You must fit in. You must be safe. You must mold your personality and have the repressed part of yourself to survive. So what do you think I learned in that situation? Make myself small. Don't assert myself. If I assert myself, I'm going to be rejected. Or other conclusions that you make. What does love equal? Screaming at each other. All of these things that we basically absorb via our environment, these are the things that cause us to act with basically social anxiety. Are you starting to see what I mean? And get how the environment, family, everything shapes us, and we have parts of ourselves that we repress and we can't bring up because we've learned to be specific ways. But these repressed part of ourselves serve a purpose when we're about 10 years old. Now that we're 18, 20, 25, we're adults, it doesn't serve a purpose. And that undoing, bringing back these parts of ourselves and basically feeling like you're whole again, this is basically what shadow work is. It's integrating all of those disowned parts of yourself. So that what a lot of people do is they go around searching for success or something external in order to feel like they're whole or that they're valued again. Because they inherently learned from a younger age that all of who they're meant to be is not allowed, and that they're not whole already. So therefore, search external, success, girls, sex, physique, all of these things outside are meant to fill the hole inside. But to feel whole, you bring up these repressed parts and learn to integrate them. And that when you learn to integrate them, how does this play into social anxiety, social confidence, and charisma? Why are you scared of judgment? Why are you scared of embarrassment? Why are you scared of rejection? Why are you scared of looking certain ways? These are all adaptations to how you were growing up and learned. They're all learned behaviors. They're not inherent to life. They're not objective truth in the same way that gravity is going to go down every time. They're just learned behaviors that you can learn to undo. And that when, you know how social anxiety works, we think about a social situation, or we get anxious about a situation. Why does that anxiety even come up? Why do the thoughts come up that they're going to reject me? They're going to think I'm weird. All of this crap. Because I'm not already whole. If you're already whole, what they think about you, it's not going to inflict such a massive, disproportionate amount of pain to you. It's not going to cause you pain. Social anxiety is just a protective mechanism. It's trying to protect you from getting into those social situations that cause you so much pain. Remember that 10-year-old's mind. He learned that in that social situation, he's not safe. He's not allowed to act in that way. Now when you're 20, you're placed in the same social situation, what's going to happen? anxiety, fear, the fear of rejection. All of this is going to come back because as a 10-year-old, you learned that this is what happens in social situations. So if you heal this part, integrate the part, and I'll share how in a second, but just know that if you heal and integrate all of these parts, social anxiety, confidence, just stuff that would affect you so much, it doesn't affect you because you're already whole. Let me tell you, just this practice makes life so much better, and just not social anxiety in everything, because you're not searching for anything out there. You're already enough, but we've been conditioned to believe that we're not enough. This is also why so many people with social anxiety say that they have low self-esteem. Because what is low self-esteem? We don't like a part of ourselves. We don't like ourselves. Repressed part. We don't like a part of ourselves. If we bring up all parts of ourselves, accept it, integrate. What's there to dislike? Why would we have low self-esteem now? See how all of these are like the root cause of social anxiety and a lot of your problems is this wholeness. It's these repressed parts being repressed. And I actually like this example. When you go to the doctors and you have a disease, you're sick, what do you want them to do? You want them to treat the underlying disease, don't you? You don't want them to just give you a fucking Band-Aid and just treat the symptom. No, you want the underlying disease. This is the underlying disease of confidence. And that once you fix it, you feel no need to be small, be weak, or just all these behaviors that you think are bad and you don't like, you're not going to need it anymore. So now, for the number one way that I've found to heal parts of yourself and bring up the repressed parts, okay. I want you to, whenever you get triggered to an irrational amount, or like you don't think it's really worthy of the situation. Like someone said a few sentences about you and it's like, holy shit, like this anger, this emotions are coming up and like you need to defend yourself. This irrational, like you're getting defensive about yourself basically. When you get super triggered, I want you to, instead of interpreting triggered as whatever out there is attacking me, you're bad, this social situation, shit, I can't handle this. I want you to, or just blaming other people, the external world for your being triggered. I want you to instead, fuck off all that. That's not helping anything and it just makes you miserable. Instead, hold this perspective instead. Ask why. Become curious. Why am I getting triggered? What's going on? Okay. Instead of allowing the thoughts to take hold and you just blame external things, you ask why and become curious. Let's give an example from my own life. I used to get triggered when people would call me an attention seeker or say that I need other people or that I need external validation. That would always produce an irrational amount of emotion from me. It would make me get defensive. Instead of blaming my friends or whatever triggered me, ask why. Why did I get so triggered? And then sit with that feeling. Don't immediately rush to fill it with something. Just sit with it. Why? What's going on? And then eventually your subconscious will come up with something. And it'll be like, that makes sense. Okay. And then ask why again. What did this come from? Why do I feel this way? What does this say about me? Why do I get so triggered when other people call me an attention seeker? Sit with it. Allow the subconscious to cook. And then it eventually came to the realization that I need people. I don't feel okay without people needing me. And a lot of my behavior stemmed from the fact that I needed people. On the surface, I built a defense mechanism that said, I don't need people. I'm strong. I'm emotionally tough. I'm a strong man. I don't need people. This was the conscious thoughts. These were the surface level thoughts. But deep down, I refused to accept that I needed people. Repressed part of me. See how it all comes back together? And then I again sat with that emotion. Because again, I was getting triggered. You want to, once you figure out what's at the bottom, okay, sit with and accept the emotion. Let go of it. At this point, you're going to be very emotional. You're going to be triggered. I want you to, instead of trying to escape or do something else, sit with the sensation. Where in the body does this exist? Oh, my stomach's feeling contraction right now. Stomach's being tight. My heart's beating. Focus on that sensation. Throat's a little tight. Sit with that sensation and allow it to be. Don't rush to fill it with anything. Don't justify it. Just allow it to be. Allow the emotion to fully process. And then after a few minutes, you'll feel the emotional strength of it. It'll decrease. And then at that point, you can sort of reframe and question and argue the validity of this belief. So you learned that, hey, I need people's validation in order to feel okay. Okay, let's reframe and question that a bit. Am I going to be okay if I don't have people's validation? Can I find or believe that I'm going to be okay without other people? Sit with that. Oh, I can. Oh, I'm good. You've now processed that crap emotion, that unprocessed emotion that you sat with, it's now processed. Now reframed the belief so it won't affect you as much. This is how you heal. So at a top line perspective, it's find what triggers you, use it as a North Star, and then become curious. Ask why. Delve deeper. Ask why again. And then once you get to the root, you'll find that it triggers you very emotionally. Sit with that trigger, sit with those emotions, focus on the sensations, and allow it to be. Allow everything to be as it is. Then a few minutes go by, reframe it, question it. Is this true? Or is it just some sort of bullshit conditioning? Some bullshit conditioning, okay. Why should I believe it? What? Then by the end of it, that no longer affects you. And one more thing that I should probably have explained earlier, but I didn't, is the difference between the conscious and the subconscious mind. Conscious is everything that you're basically aware of at the moment. The video, how you're feeling, just everything that you're currently aware of. The subconscious is everything underneath. It's your memory, your experiences, your beliefs that are just outside of your attention, and that asking why is delving into the subconscious. To visualize it, I want you to, the iceberg meme, where it's 10% of the iceberg is visible, and then the rest is just the 90%, it's the big iceberg. Underneath the water is your subconscious mind. The iceberg underneath is the subconscious. It's outside of your awareness. While the 10%, the iceberg on the surface, is what's in your awareness. And they're asking why, finding when you're triggered. That brings the subconscious, the repressed parts of yourself, back up to the surface. You can process the emotion, you can reframe it, you can heal, and now, the next time that situation triggers you, you're not going to get it triggered. It's not going to affect you. The same old programming, it's not going to fire. It doesn't exist anymore. You see how this can be so powerful, and how even if you don't want to get triggered anymore, you don't want to be emotional, you don't want to be reactive, why do you get reactive in the first place? Some part of you is triggered. Mate, this work is beautiful. and results in such a peaceful and happy life. I can't believe I used to think, actually I can believe, conditioning does that to you, that seeking happiness externally is what's going to make you happy. Yes, get that physique. Yes, get financial wealth. Yes, have lots of sex. Hope you can see how flawed that belief is. So yeah, I hope you've taken something away from this video. I hope you've learned a lot, and I hope you take action, and I hope that the next time you get reactive, you can remember this video and do the work. Or like, you can like get reactive, have the crap come up and get super emotional, but then come back to it an hour later and then do the work. Yeah, so subscribe, leave a comment with your experiences if that's helped you, and just tell me your thoughts. And yeah, like so, and yeah, bye.